employees by now. Are by this fall.
Yeah.
They're already at 28, and they are announcing that they're going to expand and grow their building to over 50,000 square feet at Mid-America Airport.
Oh, really?
Right now it's 32,000. So it'll be a significant addition.
Is this something they build? Or
since it's built on airport property,
right.
It's something that the county builds and then leases to them to make the payments back on what the building costs. They agree to a long-term lease. We work with the FAA on that, and since this is property that was acquired with FAA money, federal money, it can't be sold, so North Bay Produce can't actually own its building. The building always belongs to the owner of the airport.
So you don't have a choice there.
It really is the way that you develop property on airports, and it's good with North Bay. This model works for them. And then, of course, that building right now is full of berries from many parts of the southern climates.
It's got produce there.
And that's why they have to expand. They've got blueberries and raspberries and red raspberries. A lot of people may be seeing that their produce is all of a sudden much fresher. The blueberries that used to be 30 days old when they're in the store now are 3 days old.
Really? So what kind of an area do they serve? I mean, is it just the St. Louis metro area?
Throughout the United States and Canada.
How many?
Throughout the United States and Canada, and eventually overseas as well.
And they want to work to build the Asian market, and the way that happens then is through Mid-America Airport. So they, depending on the growing season, so if you want to take a blueberry, they can get you a fresh blueberry 365 days a year. So they go through all the southern climates, and then all of a sudden in June, that's when the United States its blueberry crops start to ripen. So they have blueberries in Georgia and Michigan, in various parts, and so
they're kind of a big deal.
They're a big deal. Before they came to Mid-America, they were a $70 million a year company, and they fully expect to grow and perhaps double their operation through this brand new central United States headquarters, distribution headquarters that they've located at Mid-America Airport.
So if they grow, is that good for us?
They grow, it's good for us. And bringing airplanes on the runway and buying fuel, those are things that...
So some of their stuff is transported via air, I assume.
Yes, and that's our hope is that gets more and more so as the market builds in Asia.
They have to distribute, I guess they use trucking to distribute.
Yes, refrigerator trucks. We had 42 tons fly in from South America last fall.
Oh, really?
We were out there to help watch that.
42 tons, I don't know what
it's repacked. Blueberries, just blueberries.
It's a lot.
Oh. Wow.
Gentlemen, and repackaged and then distributed throughout the U.S. and Canada.
I'm glad you straightened me out on Reeder Road and where that is, because I was having difficulty understanding that. Now it's perfectly clear, and I will be able to explain it to anybody. Mark, thanks very much for coming by.
Don't forget Allegiant Airlines at Mid-America Airport. They're flying regular flights, scheduled flights to Florida, and we'd encourage everyone to use them. We're trying to expand to get the Vegas flights back, so any help that anyone can be to get a hold of Allegiant and say we want to fly to Las Vegas. The new bridge, the county board voted to have it named the Veterans Bridge. We need support on that too, so call your legislators and let them know that the Veterans Bridge, honoring our veterans, is an important thing, and this bridge is going to be here for a couple hundred years, and wouldn't it be nice to have it named after our veterans?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Terry, good to see you again.
My pleasure.
Mark Kern, Terry Beach, our guests on this segment of our program. Now it's time for our Movie Minute, brought to you by Copper Bend Pharmacy and featuring Kathy Kaiser, with all the scoop from the Academy Awards.
Yes.
Did you pick any winners in advance, or did you not fare? Or did you fare like everybody else?
I fared like everybody else. I wasn't quite on the same wavelength as the Academy this year.
Argo won Best Picture, and I don't think anybody really expected that.
I didn't. I agree.
What did you think was going to be the Best Picture?
Oh, well, I was hoping for Les Mis, but I'm a musical person, so I thought it was phenomenal.
It's funny, Les Mis. I think people were on both sides of that fence. I liked it a lot. Some of the people I was with didn't care for it much. So it was one of those movies that...
But I really thought the Academy was going to pick Lincoln. I really thought
Lincoln
Lincoln
most people thought Lincoln.
Yeah.
And then The Life of Pi got 4 awards.
Right, and you love that movie.
I liked it, yeah. Well, it's because I read the book and I understood the movie because of that. Okay, so Argo was the best picture of the year.
It was.
And one of the fellows here told me that it's going to be on Charters On Demand for the
Correct.
next couple of months.
Right, and it's actually out on DVD now as well.
It's also on DVD. Did you see Affleck's award speech at the end?
I did.
He was, I think for an actor, he talked too fast, I thought.
I think that the whole thing caught him off guard. I think since he was kind of slighted with Best Director, the fact that
you
the
think
movie
he
got...
felt that? Did he feel slighted?
I think he did.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he
Well,
did.
he said something about life has its ups and downs and you just
Right,
bounce back.
right,
So
exactly.
maybe that's what he was referring to?
I think so. I really think that, you know, the whole thing caught him off guard like a few of us, that it won Best Picture.
So Argo was, I don't even remember the rating of it. Was it an R
It's
movie?
an R,
Yeah.
right?
And it's available on DVD and
Right.
Charter On Demand.
Right. Starring
enough.
Ben Affleck.
Starring Ben Affleck,
Yeah,
of all
there you
things.
go. Of all
Directed by and
things,
starring.
directed and starring, and John Goodman as well.
And
Alan Arkin.
Those two were terrific in that movie. Anyway, well, thank you, Kathy. That's our Movie Minute, brought to you by Copper Bend Pharmacy.
Here at Copper Bend Pharmacy, some things change and some things will never change. In our expanded pharmacy, we offer wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, plus many other new and useful healthcare items. What never changes? We always take the time to answer your questions and make you feel comfortable. So, for a complete selection of healthcare items and answers to your questions, if your pharmacy doesn't feel like home, come see us.
Of the things that go up and down in March, you know, the Ides of March and spring, that's bad, that's good. The financial markets seem to have been doing that for a long time, and so Adrian Croissant has been willing to come on periodically and explain that to me, so he's going to try again today. Adrian, it's good to have you here with your
Thank you, Norm.
with your complete explanation of
I'll give it my best shot.
the market continues to be volatile, I guess. Is that
It does.
fair?
We have these self-imposed deadlines that Congress has put on themselves with regard to a variety of topics.
They do it regularly.
They do it regularly now. It's something unprecedented that we really haven't had happen before, but
And
it
does
certainly
that-
creates volatility.
And that does create some volatility, you think?
Certainly, if the U.S. is at the brink of not paying its bills, that could certainly have an impact on credit markets and so forth, and we saw that happen, you know, several years ago, and a downgrade in the debt. And now we had the fiscal cliff that I think we talked about, and now that we got past the cliff, and now we have other self-imposed deadlines that Congress has placed
One
on
after the
themselves.
other.
That's
What
correct.
impact, I think we've talked also about the impact in Europe, and that seems to have kind of gone away, or
It's
has it?
abated a little bit. They had some elections there that, especially with Greece, that chose new leadership that wanted to continue on the austerity measure, so that gave some certainty to that. The European Central Bank stepped in to help out Italy and Spain with some debt issues, so that certainly helped out. But more recently, we had an election in Italy, and looks like we might have the same leadership there, so that's been given the European markets a little bit of volatility.
Really?
So from one thing to the next, there's certainly a lot of things that can impact volatility.
Yeah, you know, talk about things that have impact.
Mm-hmm.
April 15th has impact on almost everybody around.
Yes, it
With
does.
the income tax coming due then.
That's correct.
Now here during the month of March, are there things that people who are investors can or should do that relate to the April 15th deadline?
Certainly. When you're talking to your tax advisor, they're going to be looking at ways to minimize your tax burden.
Yeah.
One of those might be to utilize IRAs, traditional IRAs that are deductible if you don't have access to any plans at work or other saving vehicles that might help you save for retirement.
And you can still apply to funds to an IRA
for last year,
up
until your tax
up
filing
until the
deadline.
tax filing deadline. Okay, well that's a good tip. What about, are there still educational funds?
Well, you can certainly have educational savings plans. which would be 529 or Coverdell Education Savings Accounts, but those are more on the calendar year, so any contributions you would be putting into now would be for this tax year.
And the other kind of account that I've heard about that I don't know anything about is the health savings accounts. Are those in that same category, or is that just a tax thing? And
I believe those are just by the calendar year. I don't deal too many with too many health savings accounts, but certainly that would be another way you could put some money away that you could draw it at a later date and not have any tax issues with that when you use it for health care.
you know, people who are active in the market,
Yes.
buying and selling, does that have any impact in this first quarter as far as taxes are concerned for last year?
No, the tax, and this created some volatility in 2012, I think, near the end of the year, because some people were probably doing some selling of stocks because of the idea that capital gains taxes would be going up, which some of them did in 2013. So there was tax selling going on at the end of last year,
Okay.
so they could save a little bit of money on their taxes.
But there's nothing in this quarter.
That won't have any impact on
No
last year's
impact.
taxes.
That's all for next year.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When people are buying or selling stocks, do they need to be concerned about the volatility? When's the best time for people to review their portfolio? Give me a one-word answer as to when's the best time to review their portfolio.
I would think it's at least annually.
Oh, I thought you were going to say now.
Now, that's right. Well, now's always a good time, but certainly you should, if you're thinking about taking some losses or gains.
Yeah.
That's typically done near the end of the year, so you can, even out your losses and gains, so you may not have too many carryovers and so forth. So it's good to review this information and have a strategy in place for the year.
That's a good idea. In other words, think about what you're doing.
That's correct.
That's a good plan. Adrian, thanks very much for coming by.
Thanks, Norm, for
It's always
having me.
good to have you here. Our guest in this segment of the program, Adrian Croissant. This Movie Minute featuring Kathy Kaiser is brought to you by Copper Bend Pharmacy. Kathy,
Hi, Norm.
okay, so we're past the Academy Awards. We'll forget about that.
Okay.
Are there any movies out? I guess they're still making movies.
They're still making movies.
Yeah.
They're still putting a few out this time of year.
Give us a review of an interesting movie.
Okay, well, how about Stand Up Guys?
I think I like the idea. I think I've seen a preview of it.
Yeah, starring Alan Arkin and Christopher Walken and Al Pacino.
I've got to see that movie just because of the cast. I don't care what the movie's about. I've got to see it. So tell us about it.
It's about three mobsters getting back together and maybe having their last hurrah, with one of them not really knowing that one of them's been hired to off them.
Ooh.
Yeah.
At first I thought it was going to be like the Over the Hill Gang.
Nope, absolutely not.
Is it a
Absolutely-
comedy, a tragedy, a drama, or what?
It's a mobster movie, but it's a soft mobster movie. You got to remember, January movies are usually not the best films, shall we say.
Oh, so you don't think this was the best film, shall we say?
It was a 3 out of 5 stars in
3.
my book. I mean, I think the expectations with all the actors you're thinking, and actually the last 10 minutes of the movie are the best.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
the last 10 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So if you're going to sleep early in the movie?
Exactly, and wake up for the end.
What's it rated? R, PG?
Rated R.
Rated R.
Rated R.
You give it 3 out of 5.
Yep.
Okay, anything else going on?
How about A Good Day to Die Hard?
Don't tell me it's Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis
Oh, I
as
told you
John
not
McClane.
to tell me that. Okay.
Yeah, John McClane reprising his role and, taking his son along for the ride. Yeah.
Okay, well.
And
what
we're in Russia. That's exciting.
is it rated R?
It's rated R,
And
yes.
you gave it
2 out of 5 stars.
2 out of 5. Okay. Sorry, Bruce. All right. Thanks, Kathy. That's our Movie Minute with Kathy Kaiser, brought to you by Copper Bend Pharmacy.
Here at Copper Bend Pharmacy, some things change and some things will never change.